Since 2018, I've been traveling the world full-time, living entirely off the income I generated from my online business, which was just acquired a few months ago. And I failed a lot. I mean, I tried selling everything from digital products to software to online services, crypto, stocks, and even selling some stuff on Amazon. Through perseverance and maybe a little bit of luck, I was finally able to be my own boss and travel around the world. I hope this helps you. So to grossly oversimplify business, there's typically two main ways of making money online. Sell a product for money, or you could sell time for money. As I mentioned, I tested out plenty of different business models and I was just trying to figure out how can I pay my bills. As a child, I grew up in poverty and I was actually still pretty broke, living paycheck to paycheck just a few years ago, which means that I basically had to unlearn a lot of things I learned about money when I was a kid, and how can I make more money was the question that was constantly on my mind. Obviously, there's thousands of ways to make money online, but I'm gonna focus on the main way that worked for me. So over the years, I pretty much found that selling my time for money proved to not only be the most consistent, but also the most profitable. Even Tim Ferriss sold his time for money by working as an account manager while he was working on his first business. Alex Hormozi started working as a project manager before he went into the gym business. When trying to make your first $10,000 a month online in profit, it's so much easier to sell your time, aka skills, because you don't need lots of cash, inventory, or ad space. The hardest part is probably just figuring out what you're good at and what business problems people will pay you a lot of money to solve. I suggest starting in design, development, marketing, or sales. Generally speaking, sales is often the most valuable because it's driving revenue. I ultimately went more into marketing because I was actually more interested in how the leads and traffic came through that would then become the sales eventually. So what worked for me, if I had to reverse engineer it a little bit, was first getting some digital skills. And in the early days, where I got most of my skills was this crazy method that I used called YouTube and Google. And then I went and executed on the skills I learned. Was in college, I dropped out, just free information online. And then once I had some digital skills like web design and marketing, I took this big gamble, went all in on business. And by that, I mean, I actually got some full-time jobs for a few years. This part of my life was pretty much just a tutorial. I could have totally skipped over everything here. It was largely a waste of time. Okay, hold up. As I'm editing this video, I'm realizing it wasn't entirely a waste of time. Here's what I mean. Actually, I do think there is value in working for companies. I believe that I just did this part wrong, which made it a waste of time. My mistake was trying to make as much money as I could versus picking the opportunities that would actually teach me the most. And funny enough, not only did I not make that much money because of this mindset, but I didn't even grow that much at the companies I worked at. So if I were to redo this part of my journey, I would actually flip it. I would focus way more on how much I was going to learn from each job rather than how much I was going to earn. And this is one of the main lessons I had to unlearn from growing up poor, is to not operate from such a place of scarcity and needing the cash right now, because it actually hurts you long term. All right, so to pick up where we left off, I was working for these companies. And then one day when I felt really confident in my abilities, I took a big leap of faith and then I went to go work online. What ultimately ended up getting me a lot of jobs was me taking my phone out and filming a video saying, hey, I could do web design, marketing, and whatever else you need. And then I sent that out to hundreds of companies via job sites and cold emailing them. After some months, I finally started getting some quick contract work and some little jobs here and there, but nothing really major. But at one point, I was charging like 50 bucks an hour and I was like, oh, okay, cool, I got this. But then this guy named Tim that I met at a party pretty much told me how silly it was that I was charging hourly when I should charge a flat fixed cost per month. So I did that instead. And then the rest was history. I think my income shot up like 5x at that point, and then I started hiring. Here's the 8 things I did right. Number 1, I learned digital skills. 2, identified my highest value skills. 3, pitched my offering. 4, contacted hundreds of companies. 5, sold my skills as services. 6, started getting contract work and some jobs coming here and there. 7, I repackaged my offer from hourly to retainer. 8, I started hiring a team. And then I got to work remotely from any country I lived in.
Ryan, what are you working on over there? Oh, come on. It's not how you grow your business.
What made me successful was that I experimented constantly, learned from my mistakes, and took action consistently. Even the video email tactic was just one test in a long line of failed experiments I tried over many months. My point is that anyone can start a successful online business or side hustle. Remember, when I started, I didn't have any unique skills or connections. 80% of my education came through doing the actual work, and then maybe 20% from consuming content. Something that helped me massively was surrounding myself with like-minded people. Suddenly, I wasn't delusional for trying to create this high-risk, high-reward life. You are not alone in your journey. There are others like you who have faced similar challenges and have come out on top. If they can do it, so can you. Just take consistent action. I feel like a fresh start is great to make space for new goals. Just like when I left my home country behind to scale my online side hustle into a real business. Check out my short form content and subscribe if you don't want to miss an upload.